better way to start off AI House than thinking about the future? How many of you guys come to CES every year to see what the future holds? Most of you, right? So we're going to start with the future. We have an amazing, amazing panel with folks that I brought together for this panel specifically because they're working across many different industries and are really going to guide us in this conversation as we start off. So I'm going to call them on stage. Resh Sidhu from Snap. Resh, come on, join us. If you can give him a clap while they come up, be great. Bret Kinsella from VoiceVault and Fuel-iX. Leslie Shannon from Nokia. Jon, I'm hoping I don't butcher your name. I've tried. Jon Vlassopulos. Jon V, we call him Jon V from Napster. And then Chahal Honan from Imagine. Thank you, everyone. All right, so we're going to start our conversation. I'm going to ask each one of the panelists to introduce themselves briefly, tell us, I told you where they work, but they'll tell us where they work, what they do, and what they're doing with AI currently. So, Resh, we'll go down the line with you. Start with you.
Amazing. Hi, everyone. I'm Resh Sidhu, as Cathy's mentioned. I am the Global Director of Arcadia at Snapchat. Arcadia is Snapchat's in-house AR branded innovation studio, and we're working with cutting-edge AR and AI innovation. We work with a number of global brands, everybody from Nike to Coca-Cola to L'Oreal. And what we're really helping brands do ultimately is connect with that Snapchat community in ways that they have never imagined. And that is a combination of new AR and cutting-edge AI, but we always make sure that everything that we build brings friends and people together.
And you have a pair of spectacles.
I actually have. So
yeah.
For those who are aware of Snapchat, in September, we announced, and our CEO, Evan, did a live demo at Snap's Partner Summit. And these are our spectacles. This is actually the 5th iteration. And the reason why this is so exciting, obviously it's packed full of incredible AR technology, but it's also powered by AI as well. So there are a lot of fun experiences on here. Voice activation, the technology is remarkable in understanding physical spaces, but my favorite part is when friends are together, it's a connected experience. So when there's 4 or 5 or multiple people, you can have a shared connected experiences with these AR glasses.
Yeah, and you're not going to see those everywhere at CES, so this is kind of exciting that they're here.
And if anyone does want a cheeky little demo, just come and grab me afterwards.
You're going to get a big line. I don't know if you should have offered that. Bret, please tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Sure. I guess I'm sitting here and just looking out. I recognize a lot of familiar faces, and I'm really happy people are here. But I see a lot of new faces too. I've spoken at CES a number of times over the years. I guess this is my 13th year right now in AI, and for a long time, people knew me through like either Zap Media or some other things I was doing in the healthcare space around AI. But then VoiceBot.ai, Synthedia, and people are like, "Well, why did you move on?" And I went to TELUS Digital last year in order to launch a product that I thought there was a significant gap in the market, which seems amazing. Like you walk around here, it seems like there are no gaps, but there were gaps because of the way that enterprises adopt things. And so Fuel-iX is the product. You'll be able to see demos here throughout the day over on the side there. Yeah, I recommend you do that. You guys look me up on LinkedIn. I'm the only Bret Kinsella in the world. So I don't know how many people can have
One
that
and
distinction. So would love to connect with people here. Just let me know, like when you send a message, just say that you saw me here. And I'd love to connect with people. Really excited to talk about the future, but also how the present is very important right now. And that's going to create the fork to different futures we could see.
All right, now we have Leslie. Leslie?
Yeah, hi. So I'm Leslie Shannon. I'm head of innovation and trend scouting for Nokia. And I've got to always say my disclaimer, we don't make phones anymore. Don't ask me about your phone.
Boo.
And so, but I've been with the company for 24 years, and I'm on the network side. What we have, we sold the handset business 10 years ago, people. Get over the phone thing. We make the telecommunications equipment that we sell to phone companies to build their networks with. So the base stations up on the towers, the fiber optic cable in the ground, the routers, all that kind of stuff, hardware and software. And so our concern, and we purchased Alcatel-Lucent in 2017, and with that came Bell Labs. So Bell Labs is now Nokia Bell Labs. So we're doing a lot of AI work through Bell Labs. We're also doing a lot of quantum. Ask me about that later. But we're also looking at how the network and computing go together. The question that we have is, where does computing sit? Who owns it? And where does the energy come from? And so that's one of the things I'll be interested in talking about today.
Amazing. John?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jon Vlassopulos. I think the only Jon Vlassopulos on LinkedIn as well. Not wanting to compete, but Jonathan at least. So nice to meet you. I'm the CEO of Napster. Has anyone ever used Napster in the past? Raise your hand. Come on. All right. Policemen will be seeing you on the exit as you go out.
25 years ago, maybe?
Been looking for you guys for 25 years. So nice to meet you. So Napster is, we say, don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years. So I worked on the original Napster 25 years ago when I was at a media company called Bertelsmann. We invested, trying to bring it mainstream with a $1 billion offer to the music industry. Didn't quite get there, story over cocktails. But then the assets eventually went to Real Networks, who launched Rhapsody, the first streaming service, and they rebranded that as Napster. So we are the original streaming service before Spotify, same catalog, same experience. In terms of impacts, and I used to work at Roblox, where Cathy and I, we were, I know, as the godson, if you're the god, I don't know.
Yes.
Fellow godfather of,
Yes.
of the metaverse. So yeah, very interested in the impacts on creativity. Now, and as a music service, we're the first music service to roll out and leverage AI for playlist creation. So we're very excited about how AI can kind of super service as consumers, connecting us, enhancing creativity for average consumers, professional consumers, and creators, and across the whole entertainment. I used to be a TV producer. So excited to give my perspective on all of this, and I still miss my Nokia phone. I'm just putting it out there.
They were
I
good
used to
phones.
work
They
at
were good
AT&T.
phones. I'm
They're
not
great
gonna
phones. We're
deny
not talking
that.
about the
Yeah.
phones. Sorry.
Amazing. Annie?
Okay.
Hi, I'm Annie Chahal Honan, and I am managing partner and founder of a group called Imagine and Unity, and we're just starting to announce what we're up to. I'm also heavily involved in a group called the X Prize Foundation, and I just was invited to join the board of trustees. So I've been surrounded by a lot of crazy innovators my entire career, from AI to blockchain to the biotech industry, the big pioneers at Genentech. And what we're up to is really simple. We want to help mindful creators build better companies. And how we're doing that is we're really, really diving into how can we provide more collaboration across innovation? How can we really bring more people into this world? Because we are at an inflection point, and we think that's really important. And how can we provide better wellness for startup teams? Because if you've been in this crazy world as long as a lot of us that have been, we need it. And some of what we do at the X Prize, we have some of the biggest innovators in the world involved in the X Prize and Imagine. So we just announced a big collaboration where around the world, part of what we're trying to do is create more opportunities around the world for more people to have a perspective and be involved in what we're creating. And we'll talk a lot more about AI and what we're doing. Last but not least, we now have the largest group of independent AI scientists working on advancing AGI with some of the big pioneers in the industry, from John Laird, who created Sora AI with Alan Newell, who's a Turing Award winner, and Dr. Ben Goertzel, who's just a good friend and crazy brilliant, that has been instrumental in OpenCog.
Thank you. And as you can see, we have many different perspectives. I wanted to start off this panel on the future, not with the same people talking about the same thing. I want a very different perspective across the board, and that's where you're going to get today. So I'm going to ask each of the panelists a question, then we'll do some questions for the whole panel, and I'm going to end with kind of a really exciting question at the end. So Bret, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on agentic AI in 2025 and beyond?
Has anybody heard the term agents recently? Oh my gosh. I guess I'm a little jaded because I've been in the industry a long time, and agents actually used to mean something, and now they're like some sort of marketing term that means just about anything. I think a lot of people are talking about agents, and they mean different things. So if you're Mark Benioff, you're going to think it's like a digital worker. If you're Dario Amodei from Anthropic, you're going to look at it as like a tool that does things for you, or potentially some sort of workflow tool. Other people are thinking about it as actually what we used to think about these things as like autonomous solutions. Now, those autonomous solutions could be human initiated or machine initiated. I think the key thing to think about when you hear about agents is what's the purpose? So the purpose of an agent is to be able to accomplish a task. And what we're seeing right now with generative AI being sort of the front end of the revolution with that little text box is we're seeing we can do a lot of things just going right to an LLM or right to a RAG database and retrieve information. But then the next question comes, well, what do you have to do more complex retrieval? Like if you want some numeric data that's in a real-time system plus whatever your static data is from your RAG database. An agent's actually in a good position to potentially do that. What else might an agent do for you? It might actually execute a workflow. So people ask for something and it actually goes into multiple enterprise systems, or 3 agents are orchestrated together to do that, and it fulfills a process. And so if you think about what's going on today with generative AI and what's been so impactful is that the generative AI tools are just really good co-pilots that will allow you at a point in a process to do one thing and to do it better. And then maybe you use it again and you can conversational, or you do 2 different types of co-pilots that will get you through a process. We had a group at TELUS. TELUS, if you don't know, largest Canadian telecom, is sort of our parent. They put 4 different co-pilots together. I'm like, oh, well, we could actually do an agentic system for this. You could just have one, and then this could all get orchestrated in the background. And so that's when you start thinking about agents, that's what you think. And if you just break it down, the most interesting thing, whether you call this an agent, you call this a reasoning engine, you call it an arbitrator or an orchestrator, what's happening now is not what most people think is happening. So 2 years ago, people would talk to the LLM, talk to ChatGPT. Today, more likely than not, a lot of the things that you're seeing out there are just talking to that. But the systems that are really getting adopted, you're actually talking to a model which is figuring out what it's going to do. You think about this planning, reasoning, planning, and execution. And then that's deciding which agents or which workflows or which databases to call to fulfill whatever that request is. And so when we think about where we are today and where we're going, think about this idea of multiple models, this sort of reasoning, arbitration agent that's the first thing you talk to. And then that just looks at an LLM like from OpenAI or Anthropic as a tool that it's pulling in to process language, and it's concatenating that with your data, with your systems, with your workflows.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bret. Leslie, I'm going to jump over to you. And this is a question that you and I worked on together. It's really long, but just bear with me. So AI is, of course, intrinsically powerful on its own, but the way that it transforms existing industries and makes them rethink their own fundamentals, that may be where we see some of the most substantial change in the status quo over the next 10 years. How do you see AI making the telecommunications industry rethink its assumptions as you look at the future?
Yeah, and this gets to, and sorry, this is infrastructure stuff, but it's cool, but bear with me. So there is a thing that's just starting now called AI RAN. RAN is a telco term. It stands for Radio Access Network, and it's the mobile network, right? It's just the over-the-air radio. Okay, I work for Nokia, and like I said, I've been there for a long time. So I had a front row seat for the crash and the burn of the handset unit. The fundamental reason that the Nokia handset no longer, is part of our company, is that we made excellent telephones. And what Apple did was they changed the telephone into a computer, and they put a computer in everybody's pocket. What AI RAN is doing, and this is really being driven by NVIDIA right now. So NVIDIA is pushing a project that it's NVIDIA, T-Mobile, Nokia, and our rival Ericsson, but well, never mind. Anyway, and we're all working together to put NVIDIA GPUs into every base station and to have the RAN run on the NVIDIA GPU instead of the bespoke hardware that it's been running so far. But also, obviously, a GPU is extremely powerful, and that means there's going to be excess compute. in every single base station. And so, and the possibilities here for locating computing near to powerful computing available to anyone on the network to run, say, off-device compute for things like your spectacles. So now the AI doesn't have to be on the device. You can get a cheaper device. You can have the battery last longer. You can have it not get hot. But the AI is still close to you. And so perhaps your data is being kept closer to you. Anyway, you can start to see that the highly distributed nature of computing that AI RAN will enable is going to change everything. And it's going to take several decades for this to play out, right? There's a lot of money and a lot of infrastructure stuff that needs to happen. But this is the vision. And the reason I mentioned Apple and changing the phone in our pocket to a computer, this is the same moment for the entire infrastructure. This is the moment where the network, the telecommunications network, changes from being a bunch of dumb pipes to being an actual thinking computer. And so, yeah, anyway, I'll stop there because it's so big, it's so amazing, and it's going to change everything.
In show of hands, how many of you have heard of AI RAND here in the room? So just a few. I mean, that's breaking for a lot of people, right? And this is the future of AI panel. So
right, and it's going to be a sleeper thing, and you're not going to hear anything about it for a while because we're really just starting this. But the concept is there, so watch for this one.
Amazing, thank you. Resh, I'm gonna move on to you. How do you see AI enhancing creativity in the AR space, particularly in how Snapchat enables brands to push the boundaries of storytelling? Because you are one of the best storytellers I know out there in the world.
Bless you, thank you. AI for us definitely, there's kind of two thought processes here. As someone who leads a creative and developer team, AI is definitely an enabler. Things that we fathomed, months ago, weeks ago, we are now able to do in a matter of minutes. What that does is it actually enables you, and I know many people are afraid that, does this mean, we're going to lose jobs, creatives are no longer going to be relevant? And what I say is it's absolutely the opposite. Because what it means is it frees up your team's time to do less of the grunt work and more of what we're here to do, which is imagine, build, and innovate. When the majority of you hire individuals that are great thinkers and coming up with phenomenal ideas, sometimes the development process alone can take months and months and months. And then ideas change and technology changes, but we're now able to do things at a speed that we, can hardly keep up with. It's like having to do your homework every night, and it's incredibly exciting. And if you are not on that train that has already left the station, you absolutely need to run fast and jump onto it. It is the wild, wild west era of AI. Everything is, AI is not new. It's been here for a long time, as has AR. But what excites me is this beautiful marriage between AR technology, which Snapchat has been developing for the past 13 years. And we've been very invested in AR for a simple reason. For any brands that want to connect with Gen Z or anybody, AR is a remarkable tool to connect people. I mean, who wants to do boring retail when you can have something really incredible? I love Cathy's shoes. I can open up Snapchat now, scan them, and purchase them immediately. That is the future of shopping. It's not even the future. We can do that now. But what AI does, it brings something remarkable to the mix of technology. But I do say you have to err on the side of caution. You always need human ingenuity to drive it. It's not just a set of prompts and AI is going to deliver something amazing. You need the tastemakers, the creators, and the developers to build something. So we work with brands to bring those two together. In fact, we've been working with L'Oreal recently and on a number of AR experiences for Gen Z. And ultimately, everything that we're trying to do is solve a business problem. They wanted to connect with Gen Z and give them a tool for self-expression. So we built this incredible AR tool that lets you try on multiple AR makeup looks, all designed by NYX's professional makeup artists. Cool, right? So it's like having 1 million makeup artists in your back pocket. Yeah. Today's look was inspired by the NYX Beauty Bestie. Once we start introducing AI into it, the speed at which it was able to deliver looks and pull in trends and recommend, but here's my favorite bit. It knows that I'm Indian, so my skin tone is darker. So it's recommending something different to me than what it would to Cathy. So AI brings a level of personalization that we have not seen before. Combine those two things together, it's an incredibly exciting space for brands.
That's amazing. I've talked about this, how combining AR and AI, or gives us that contextual layer, that digital layer that we can only see through our phones. We're going to start to see it in front of us, and it's going to be enhanced interaction.
My favorite bit, the spectacles. So as I said, this is version 5 of the spectacles. It's only a developer version. The consumer-facing version will be launching in the near future. This is available for developers to build on, because what we wanted to do is put this technology into the hands of developers right now. It is not a prototype. Developers can sign up on a subscription model and build on this. And as Team Arcadia, we built the first branded experience on this, which is Lego. And I was talking to Jon about this. So Lego is an incredible brand. I mean, how many of us have played with Lego from childhood and into adulthood? Yeah. But now a number of us could pop these on, because not all of us bring Lego sets with us. We could pop these on and we could have a shared Lego experience and build Lego together. And that is a really interesting way to think about an incredible brand like Lego, who is using technology to still stay true to their values of play and imagination, but using technology like AR and AI and our spectacles to connect with people in a different way.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see across the show floor in multiple places at CES, devices, glasses, all sorts of devices using AI, and on-device AI is like a hot trend for sure.
Can I just follow up on this?
Yeah.
So I think Rich is being a little modest here. I've looked at smart glasses. I've tried all of them over the last 8 or 9 years when sort of they really started to become useful. Snap spectacles are the only ones until Meta, until the Meta frames, were the only ones that were actually successful. And so Snap spectacles 1 and 2 were out in the use. You'd come here, we'd go to the offices, and we would see people with their AR, VR, or AR glasses in this case, and there were demos. Spectacles are actually used in the world, so I'm excited to see what this brings.
Yeah, and there's such cool things on here.
Yeah.
My favorite thing, Cathy, on here is the AI, because it's voice interaction. It struggled with my British accent for a little while, but we fixed that. And literally, I can pop these on right now, and I could say, give me a cupcake with sprinkles on it and a frog wearing a cowboy hat. And poof, it would appear. It's generative AI in real time, and the possibilities that opens up is amazing. And thank you for saying that.
Jon, I want to jump over to your side of the house, music and everything happening in that space. How is Napster, for example, embracing AI, and what is the role of AI and agentic AI in the music and streaming industry?
Well,
that's a big question, y'all.
it's very simple. So I like to. So AI. I was talking to a friend yesterday in the space, and I like applied intelligence. I suppose artificial. Okay. So especially those examples, we have all the intelligence. The music industry has been doing versions of AI for a long time. If you think of the early algorithms, where we would collect large data sets and apply them for recommendations. A lot of the the PhDs use music as an example for the early models. So I think people can fact check, but I think I did one of the first AI bots like 22 years ago when I was at AT&T with Radiohead. So we were trying to get text messaging used, and we sat with the band and asked them a bunch of questions and did kind of a decision tree, and then you could text with the band back then. And I think we convinced a lot of people in America that they were texting with Tom York. So that was 22 years ago with using a company called Ipsh.
Sounds creepy.
It was cool. I think the suspension of disbelief in the entertainment industry. You want to believe the experiences that you're experiencing are real, and that's the magic of movies and television and music. And I think the connection to artists. So I think the ongoing theme for us, starting with digital music in '99 when I started with Napster, to now all the music industry has really done is digitize. We thought in the beginning, I looked at my old files, we would maybe digitize 1 million or 2 million tracks. We now have 170 million. So I think I'm not as excited about AI in terms of, we can create more music. We have plenty of music. I think the next generation of the music industry will all about leveraging that data for human connection and human creation and curation. So how can we connect with all this data and with this music to other people that share our tastes, solving, the number one reason that people don't go see shows is they don't have anyone to go with. So the services at the moment are kind of simple, where you search, browse. 85% of people listen to stuff they've already heard. 15% maybe are experimenting to listen to new tracks, but that's mainly the Billboard charts. So I think it's going to be a great time for independent artists and curators. I'm big on the sort of curator economy as distinct from the creator economy. We lost all the old, we used to call them tastemakers, the magazines and the radio stations and the DJs and all the people on, Instagram are doing my songs to listen to, but it's kind of disjointed from the music. So we wanted to do that first jump when we did the playlist GPT. I was toying around with the different AI models and putting in prompts, give me a fun old school playlist to listen to, by the pool or something. And it would come up with a great list of tracks, but there was no copy paste to put those tracks into a music service. So we just kind of completed it, integrated with kind of OpenAI and had it return, match with our database, kind of refine it. So you got the playlist back that you could actually listen to. So I think it's these little movements forward where, I'm big on remixing. We had a remix app, or I had a remix app 13, 14 years ago called Rompler. We got to number 1 on the charts, and that was great. And that was empowering people to do versions of songs that they knew. And we had mix kits, Nokia, back in the day. And that was super cool, but it was empowering. We never really had with music the Instagram moment for photos, where suddenly now we just came back from Egypt. We took probably the billionth picture of the pyramids, and but somehow we want to do it because it has our own little spin on it and filter. So music hasn't had that moment. So I'm excited for this empowering of turning kind of consumers into creators and curators into this new economy and connecting us all around the music we love and location. So it's, again, that applied intelligence. Hopefully we can all have better lives and sustain creativity. And I'm not as bullish on, oh my God, artists are dead because we're all going to listen to AI-generated music.
Annie, I want to move on to you from the investment perspective. What is your investment philosophy when it comes to AI, and what are the most promising AI trends you're focusing on?
So for us, it's an exciting time right now. And especially coming into 2025 and looking at how AI is maturing in some areas, but also where we're seeing breakthroughs, right? Where are the breakthroughs happening? How are they going to happen? We're still looking at a lot that's in R&D. And so that's why we work with a lot of the big scientists and pioneers, some of who popularized the term AGI. But more importantly, we're also looking at what's the societal and planetary benefit. When I look at what we're planning and what we've been planning with the announcement that we had with the X Prize. So how many people even know who the X Prize Foundation is? I don't know if many people do. So we have been instrumental at the X Prize in really the commercial space industry, kind of launching that. One of my early co-founders at Imagine led Paul Allen's Innovation Lab. So we dive in deeply there, but we have multiple pillars. So when we're investing, we're not only investing in what's exciting, we definitely team up with big tech, but what's emerging and what's the convergence. So the convergence of quantum and AI is exciting. We really love looking at what are the new business models that are out there, whether it's energy efficiency, whether it's healthcare. We love things like empathic AI and where we're heading there, what we can truly do with spatial intelligence and robots. I mean, we have David Hansen from Sophia, who created Sophia the robot, that's coming into our studios. But okay, that was really cool, and that's really cool. There's a lot of amazing things happening, but also who are the emerging innovators, and how can we help support them? Because there's a lot that we think we're not seeing yet.
Yeah.
So it's really, there's a lot to come with compute, with highly efficient versions and quantum versions of compute we've been diving into. And whatever we're not seeing, this is where we have innovation labs, and we team up with the groups that are solving some of the biggest challenges in the world, which is X Prize Foundation, from how are we saving our rainforests? How can we team up with Snap, with Napster, with Nokia, Google, you name it, and help create those innovative solutions. Elon Musk and this foundation in 2022 helped contribute to the X Prize for the largest private prize in history, which is around carbon capture and innovation around carbon capture. So we are getting heavily involved to help accelerate solutions like that. So for us, we love a lot of the cool stuff that's happening. And, I was involved early in extended reality, and I love what we're seeing now and where that's heading. But more importantly, it's what's happening for humans. One of the things I often say is look at Edelman Trust. Like, this is a group they understand what is trusted every year. They research this and talk about this. And last year, what was concerning to us is that over 85% of most people around the world are saying that AI is not for people like me. That's a lot of people. It's not for people like me, and it's mostly for rich people. And over 90%, I think it was like 92% of workers around the world are concerned about their data and their likeness. And so we really need to think about this as an industry. That's what we're looking at, that convergence of blockchain solutions, data protection, cybersecurity. It's critical at this point, and including more people in innovation around the world. That's a big focus of where we're investing and where we're heading.
And it's definitely a moment of tech convergence, right? This is the AI House, but we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different technologies that converge with AI in this moment. I'm very keen on looking at what Dr. Fei Li is doing with World Labs and spatial intelligence, like you mentioned, large world models, everything that's happening in that space, and how do you bring AI into the physical world, that physical AI that Jensen was talking about. So very, very curious. So we have only 4 minutes. I'm going to have to jump to the last question because I want to give you guys enough time to talk about the future, y'all. This has gone by fast. This is a question I like to ask at the end of the panels, just to get people, kind of thinking and giving maybe some, controversial takes there, maybe. So what is one prediction all of you can make about AI in the next 10 to 15 years that either makes you excited or makes you very concerned? So, Resh, let's start with you.
Excited. I don't know about the next 10 to 15 years, you cheeky monkey, Cathy. That is a question.
I am a futurist.
It's a long horizon.
That's right. But I can say in the near future, I'm incredibly excited about how it is. AI, as I will say again, is an enabler, and it will catapult human ingenuity and innovation in ways that we have not seen before. Jump on the train.
Bret?
Okay, so predictions. I've done a lot of these over the years. I'll do one bad and one good.
Okay.
So the bad thing is, I think this year there's going to be a major LLM hack, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh, I can't use that LLM anymore," and people will figure that out. So I think look at that space. As Pete talked about trust, that trust space, what you're doing from an AI security standpoint. You can talk to the guys over there. We've got a solution with that does that from an automated standpoint for Gen AI solutions. But something that I think is really interesting, which makes me feel good about what we're doing, is I think of this idea of, we talked about applied intelligence, augmented intelligence. And I think this idea that what we're doing is we're helping people become better at what they do. And I'm talking mostly to the B2B people out here, but there's, from a consumer standpoint, this is true as well. But people get a lot of sense of purpose out of their work. They want to do a really good job. And these tools are so amazing. And the only thing that I'm a little upset with right now is that adoption's a little bit slower because people are trying to take some time to adjust. And a lot of the wrappers around things for the applied aspect aren't quite there yet to make it really easy for them. But you see it when people get these tools, how much better they are at their job, how much more fulfilled they are. And what it does is it does two things. It makes the output better, but it raises the floor of productivity. And this is important from a societal level, but I think it's also important at that human level. We're going to hear a lot about human in the loop, human on the loop, human out of the loop. If you don't know what those are, come talk to me afterwards. But this human in the loop with these co-pilots, we've had these assistants that sit across the table from you. Really what we have now are these co-pilots that sit next to you on the table. They collaborate with you. They help you get your job better. And I think if you look at what we're doing over the next 10 or 15 years, we're going to be able to do twice the productivity that most people can do today. Depends on function a little bit. But even like I'm looking at like TELUS Digital has 65,000 people in contact centers as one of our businesses. I'm expecting they'll be able to do twice the amount of call volume, of support. And there's going to be even more because there's going to be these self-service assistants. So as someone who's been in this a long time and has seen the failings, the frontier capabilities, sort of limitations, I am super excited about what this is going to do for corporations, but particularly for individuals.
Amazing. Leslie?
So short term, I think we're going to have to rethink the business models, and I think there's going to be pressure to rethink the business models. Right now at Nokia, we're working with 10 of the different AI providers, generative AI providers, because each one does a slightly different thing and is good in a different way. It is untenable for us to pay $25 per seat to each one of these per month. And so there's going to have to be a shakeup there. And so we're going to be rethinking of the business models. But long term, I live in San Jose. When electricity first came to San Jose, the question was like, oh, street lights would be a great thing. We have electricity. Now we can have electric street lights. What San Jose did was they built one gigantic tower in the middle of the city. And this was in 1881. And it just shined light across the entire city. And it was there until it fell down in a storm in the 1920s. And so that was the initial idea of how we electrify a city, right? Just one big tower that will serve us all. Over time, electricity moved into everybody's houses, and it changed everybody's lives in ways that was unimaginable in 1881. I see a similar pattern with AI. Right now, we've got these big things where you're paying $25 per person per seat per month. It's going to become democratized. The AI RAN that I spoke about is just a part of it. AI is going to go into absolutely everything. What you two spoke about is going to happen. And once it starts rolling, I think life is going to be unrecognizable 10 years from now, honestly.
John?
Right on. I like that metaphor. So I'll give one like entertainment specific and one like general consumer. Okay. So I think entertainment specifically over the next 10 to 15 years, we'll finally see the beginning of the era of participatory media. So I've worked in television, I've worked in gaming, advertising, music, etc. And I've produced a lot of participatory experiences from television to Roblox. And I think the tools that AI can now provide to make those experiences very accessible to everyone and connected across devices and have these shared experiences, I think is going to be magical. So turning everyone, and most people, I think, after a certain age are never creative again. They don't write a poem, they don't write a song, they don't do anything. I think it's an amazing feeling when you're in that creative mode to feel that. So I think we all as humans will start to be able to experience creativity en masse and connect around those experiences. And I think that will be magical in real life spaces, in AR spaces and virtual spaces. And I think hopefully it will sustain the careers of more artists and creators from an independent perspective, and there'll be a shift away from kind of monopolistic large IP holders to more sort of distributed IP and individual creators, which I think is a good thing. From a more macro consumer perspective, I think it's going to supercharge all of our lives. Now, the advertising era, I think AI brings in the more maybe kind of commercial era, transactional era for all of us. Right now, you monetize your eyes, our eyeballs, and attention. So the longer we spend on stuff for an advertising model is better. I think as we move to AI, my son and I move completely to AI. Right, you get the answer immediately. Whether it's healthcare, what should I do? Everyone can input their MRIs and scans, and you get all, what should I do? And work out and this and pills and supplements. And so I think we can become better, kind of supercharged humans, and more connected, have better experiences. We'll never go and eat at a bad restaurant, hopefully, watch a bad movie. Hopefully all the stuff we want to consume we can do quickly and then get back to living and be connected with people. So I think I'm an optimist. We do need, from the counterbalance, to control IP and copyright as it relates to entertainment is super key, but that's kind of a given. But I'm generally optimistic about supercharging creativity, connectivity, and helping us be the best versions of ourselves.
Awesome. Thank you, John. And Annie, bring us home. Last prediction.
Right. Future. in 10 to 15 years, I actually believe in most of these technologies. This is why I've been involved most of my career in advancing a lot of what we're seeing today. So I think on the positive side, we're going to see things we can't even conceive of. I do believe we will be at AGI and we'll be heading to artificial superintelligence. And so with that, I think we're going to see trillions of AGIs that are forming, that are creating and helping actually solve some of the biggest challenges that we have around energy, resources, how we all kind of interact and work together, and better ways that we can do that in society. I think we're going to see governments that are informed with AI everywhere. I think we're going to see healthcare and medicine that will require AI interaction around diagnosis. We'll have breakthroughs in just about every area that you can think of. And I think robots will be a norm. Our family AI and our enterprise AI and what that looks like, concierge, you name it, that will be a given and a norm. I also think that on the flip side, really, really looking at food scarcity, energy scarcity, some of the challenges of all of this, people going to space. I think we will be seeing that autonomous vehicles, flying vehicles. I think we'll be seeing that quite a bit more because we're here. And also, my hope is society is learning more about ourselves. I truly believe these technologies, if we allow it and we collaborate and we bring human in the loop and we bring opportunities to most of society, we're going to learn more about ourselves. And so for us, what we keep saying is, if innovation in AI is here for humanity, shouldn't more of humanity be involved? And let's imagine it. Let's collaborate. I invite everyone to get involved, and let's create a better society and a better world.
All right, thank you. Thank you to the panelists. Thank you for your perspectives and taking us into the future. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Cathy.
Thanks, Cathy.
Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Cathy.